In this lesson, we're going to learn Microsoft PowerPoint. Microsoft PowerPoint will help us study presentation skills, which are among the most important skills you will learn. Good presentation skills enhance your communications, be it written, electronic, or interpersonal. In this technology-enhanced world, communicating ideas clearly and concisely is a critical personal skill. So Microsoft PowerPoint will help us create electronic slide presentation. We can start from a blank new presentation and add content, pictures, and themes to it so that it can look appealing to the audience.
Okay, so it looks like that, just like all other applications. You can select between different themes or a blank presentation. We can start with an iron theme there, or we can just say blank and go and change a theme inside. Okay. So this is just a blank theme, but you can make it have a certain looks, which has certain colors, and we get the themes under the design tab. Okay, if you go to design tabs, you get different themes. Let's open them. So you'll see that this one will make it look clean. And then if I open again, let's go for that one there. It's called a 7, and then it has kind of flowers or petals on it. So you can choose from different themes. You can even customize a theme if you want to. And if none of this you like, you can always go to the internet and get a certain theme and import it and work with it. Okay. But the theme that we're going to start working with is the one called Facet. Okay, let's look for Facet. That's integral. There's Facet. Okay. And please do notice that with the themes, you can go with a different variant as well. Okay. So this variant has 3 green colors. We can change to the blue colors or the pink colors or that dark green. Okay, let's go for the pink or blue. And then with the variants, you can also decide, okay, I want an office typed text, grayscale. So you'll see that it changes as I am moving. So those were the colors. And then we get the fonts. Okay. So it can be office font. Just notice what happens to that text there. Okay. As soon as I move to office, then it changes. Office 2007, Calibri, Arial, and so on, so on. Okay, let's start. So this slide, we refer to it as a title slide. The very first slide, it's a title slide. And then this area on the left-hand side, we call it a thumbnail. As we are creating more slides, you will see that they're going to show on the left-hand side. And then this is the slide pane on the right-hand side. And on the right-hand side, there are 2 rectangles. We call them placeholders. So now questions are going to change. You used to get on a certain page, on a certain paragraph, go do 1, 2, 3. That was great. And on Excel, we were talking a certain worksheet in a certain cell. So now with Excel, with PowerPoint, we're going to refer you to a certain slide on a certain placeholder. Okay. So we have 2 placeholders on this slide, the title placeholder as well as a subtitle placeholder. Okay, so on the title placeholder, we're going to type in Trident East. Okay, and then on the subtitle, we are going to type your body. So this is a presentation about some gym, okay, and then your gym. We have our title slide. So the next thing that we're going to do now, let's say, okay, we are not happy with this theme. We've went with the Facet theme. We want a different theme called organic. So just because you chose a certain theme, even if you started with it rather than starting on a blank, doesn't mean that you can't change it. You can change a theme at any point, okay? Where did I choose this theme? On the design tab. If you're not happy with the one you chose, you can always go for a different one. So we're going to go for the organic there. Okay. And then next, we're going to insert a new slide. Remember, we only have one slide, which is a title slide. Where do we insert a new slide now? On the Home tab, we have a button called New Slide. If I just click on New Slide there, okay, let me just click on it on the picture icon, then I just get a slide with title as well as content. but I don't want that layout. I don't want the layout that gives me a title placeholder as well as the content placeholder. The one that I'm looking for is called a picture with caption. So I can go change that layout. You'll see right next to the new slide, there is a layout. Okay, open the arrow, and then I'm going for the picture with caption, that one there. So it gives me the title, text, and then also a placeholder to insert a picture. Alternatively, instead of inserting a new slide and then it deciding on a default layout for me, I can go, instead of clicking on the icon, select the arrow there because it's a split button, and right then and there decide on a layout. So I'm looking for a picture with caption, and then right there. So that means you just did two things in one. Insert a new slide with a certain placeholder. But remember, so now if I just insert a new slide, it's going to give me the same with the previous layout. Then I would have to go change the layout. So just remember, you don't have to insert a new slide and go change a layout. You can just go in and look for the layout that you are looking for. So on this one, our title is going to be your goals. And the subtitle, it's quite long. So I'm just going to go check if I typed it. Okay, there. Whether you want to lose weight or firm up, Trident East can make your goals a reality. That was just me saving my time. Okay, there we have it. And then we're going to insert a third slide now. So remember, I can just go new and change layout, but I don't want that. I know the third slide that I want it with the title and content layout. If I just click on the picture icon, they're just going to give me a picture with caption layout again. So since I want a new slide after slide 2, I have to be sure that slide 2 is activated. If I insert a new slide while slide 1 is selected, it's only going to be after slide 1. So you have to be careful of that as well. So this new slide that I want it as the third slide. So it has to be after slide 2. Hence, slide 2 is selected on the thumbnail. Okay. So I'm going to click on that split button and look for title and content. There I have it. Okay. And then my title there is going to be Trident Fitness. And then I'm going to type in the list. Okay. So we call this a PowerPoint. Okay. Because on everything that you need to type here, you cannot now type in the whole chapter of what you want to present, or everything about Trident is that you want to say to the audience. So what you do, you take a paragraph and you summarize it into a bullet. Okay. So that's why they call it PowerPoint, the most powerful points of your presentation. So the audience can read, you can read. So if you type everything for them, you might have as well given them the text as it is. And it's quite irritating for an audience to just see a whole text paragraph there. So they are listening to you at the same time trying to read what's on the screen. Okay. So if you type it in a PowerPoint, they just read a point and then you say more on that point. You understand, right? So as a presenter, it's your job to say more on it, but we don't put everything in. So let's say the first point that we want there is called certified trainers. What happened to my bullet? Okay, just gonna insert a bullet. There we have it. And then you will say more about certified trainers. So we're not going to write all the details about certified trainers, where they have to go train and how they should get their certification, for how long should they be in training before they start helping people with their fitness. Okay, so that will be for you to say to the audience, but the audience only read that point. Okay, so we call that bullet the first bullet, okay, because it's a main bullet. So we're going to type in the second bullet, but we're going to indent one. Let's say after certified trainers, you want a sub bullet. Okay, so that means this second bullet here we have to indent. So we call that increase a list level. So this is on level 1, and this is still on level 1, but we can put it on a level 2. Okay, so as soon as we do that now, this is a bullet under certified trainers. It's a sub bullet. And then in there, we're going to type in professional. gyms, and then enter. So the next bullet that I want to type in is not a sub bullet under certified trainers. It's a bullet on its own. So I want it back on a level 1. So I'm going to decrease that list level. Okay. And then we want specializing in weightlifting. I hope I have it. That's a bit long. Okay. And then I also have a sub bullet on under specializing in weightlifting. So I'm going to increase that one and put it on a level 2 and type in the Midwest. Okay. So how many bullets do I have on that content placeholder? 2. It's not 4, right? So if now I give you a question like that and I tell you on the second bullet, change the color to red, you're not going to go to that one there. Okay. Remember, that's a first bullet under the first bullet. It's a sub bullet of the first bullet. If I have the second one, I can tell you on the second bullet that is under the first bullet. So we're talking about this one here, a sub bullet of the first bullet. So just remember, if I was to talk to you and go change something on the second bullet, we're talking about this one here. So we have a first bullet, which is sub bullet, a second bullet with its sub bullet. Okay, so this is on a level 2. If I have to indent it further, then I'm putting it on a level 3. Okay, so we call this indentation. We've worked with it before, but not in detail. And then we are done with slide 3 for now. And then what we want also on slide 3 is to have what we call slide notes. So sometime then you are busy with your presentation. Let's say you are preparing this before you present it to the audience, but every time you get to in the Midwest, you kind of forget the details. That happens, right? No matter how many times you rehearse, you always forget this one point. So when that happens, then you can have what we call speaker notes, okay? Those would be the notes for you so that you know when we get to this point, I'm going to read to the audience. Where do we include the speaker notes? Okay. At the bottom there, on the status bar, we have slide 3 of 3. We are back on that. Remember, this disappeared. This feature disappeared with Excel. It's back again. So it will tell you how many slides you have, which one you're on, and that tells you if you have been spelling and grammar errors. But at the right-hand side, the very first button is called Notes. Okay. If you click on Notes, then you activate Speaker Notes. And then you can type in the speaker notes there. We want to type that long thing. Okay, and then when you get there, you'll say, Trilo, this was founded by Mark Smith and Candace Jones in January of 2005, blah, 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 blah.
In order to see your notes, you will then have to either print them out and read to the audience on a printed hard copy version while you get there. Or alternatively, you can set up your slideshow to be in the presenter mode. So that will be on slideshow. When you get there, just make sure that this under the monitors, use presenter view, that it's checked. Okay. So what it will then do is that you as a presenter, it is going to show you what the audience can see. It will show you the slide, the next slide that you're going to play as well. There will also be a third section for your notes. So if you now go play out your presentation, let's say you are currently at slide number 3, which has some notes. You can, let's play from current slide. This is what you then can see. Okay, your slide that you're currently on, the next slide that will play out, and your notes for that current slide. Okay, so you can read out at that section, but you can still engage with your audience because you're not reading a whole lot of things. Okay, and then obviously you haven't done this to each and every slide because this is only for that point that you couldn't remember. All right, but what your audience can see is only this part over here, the actual slide.
To slide 2 now, I can just go click on slide 2, then it will show me slide 2. Or I could have used my vertical scroll bar, and then you'll see that it allows me to jump from slide to slide. So on slide 2, what I want to do is to go to the content placeholder. Let's say I feel like it's not enough. I wanted to type in some more. If you want it, we can help you achieve it. Okay, there it is. So this is just to show you that you can always go and edit whatever you want anywhere on any slide. Okay, and then we're going back to slide 3. On slide 3, let's say now we don't want this. Okay, so we're going to insert a new slide. Sorry about that. Slide number 4. But this slide number 4 has to be after slide 3. So remember, I was on slide 2. So when I insert a new slide and I want it to be slide 4, I have to remember to select slide 3. So the new slide that I want is a section header slide. Okay, home. I'm not going to insert and change a layout. I'm just going to go click on the split button and look for section header. So the layout is a section header. It has a title as well as text. Okay, so that text, you'll see that it's not in a bullet form. So that means I can type a mini paragraph in there. Okay, so the title in this case is all about us. And then the content, so a section header, instead of putting now them in point form, we can have a section header if you want a mini paragraph. It's still not a lot of a paragraph, but it is a paragraph for someone to kind of do a long reading. Okay, so if you want a paragraph, a section header layout would be the preferable layout to go for. Okay. Okay, so let's check on slide 1. We check, okay, and then we realized, but we just said Trident East, your body, your gym. It's not clear from the beginning when the title said that this is a gym, and titles kind of explain themselves. They have to explain themselves what you're talking about. So let's say we forgot the word gym there, or this is the name of the gym, Trident East. So I'm just going to click the space and then add gym. Okay, I'm still demonstrating that you can go back to a slide at any point and go edit. Okay, so you're not stuck with what you started with. And then on slide 2, what I want is to insert a picture on the right, content placeholder, picture placeholder. What I can do, instead of going to insert, since it's a placeholder that is meant for a picture, you'll see that it has that picture icon. It's the same picture icon that you would get on that picture. You will see that they look exactly the same, right? So I can go select the placeholder, insert picture, and go search for the picture. But there is no need for that because that icon is already there on an empty placeholder. I can just click on it and go search for my picture. Okay, we are happy. So remember, picture on Word. We worked a lot with pictures on Word, right? Still comes with your format tab, picture styles. We can choose any style that we want. On slide number 3, after slide number 3, we want a new slide. We had slide 1, 2, 3, 4. So just be careful again. We were on slide 2 and we inserted a picture. Question now tells you to go to insert a new slide after slide 3. So we cannot just insert a new slide without going to slide 3. And then this one has to be title and content, and there we have a new slide. So now our presentation is 5 slides long. Okay, and on the title, we're going to type in your gym, and then you don't always have to type content in. Remember, for anything that can capture your audience attention. So in this case, what we want is a picture instead of a text. We can go bullet form, but let's say we want a picture instead. Okay, so there's no need for insert again. My placeholder is empty and it happens to have an icon of inserting a picture again. So there's no need for me to go insert from the insert tab. Okay, there's a picture icon and then I'm going to insert the second picture. Can play around with it if I want to. We're happy with slide number 3. Sorry, slide number 4. Okay. And then picture styles, still the same. I'm just not going to do it now because we've done quite a lot of them already. A slideshow, how do you go about viewing a slideshow? So now as soon as you are in front of the audience, I cannot go to slide 1 like that. I'm on a reading mode or in editing mode. And then when I'm done with slide 2, I take you to slide 2. So what the audience has to see is only what's on the right-hand side. So where do we play slideshow? You can press F5 on the keyboard or you can go to slideshow and say from beginning. If you say from the beginning, it will display it from the first slide. It doesn't matter whether you are currently on slide 2, but if I say from current slide, it will only play it from slide number 2 because I had slide 2 selected when I said from the current slide. If I no longer want this, if I want to stop at any point, you can press escape on the keyboard. It's the first key on the keyboard, and it will take me to reader view. Okay, so let's say from the beginning, there we have it. So how do I transition to the next slide? I can just press enter on the keyboard, takes me to the second slide, enter, third, and then the last one. After the last one, automatically it will stop the slideshow. But if you want to stop at any point, just remember you can press escape on the keyboard and it goes back to the editing view. So when you get a chance, your group has a chance to come present in front of the audience and you forget to play a slideshow, you're going to lose marks right then and there. So remember, you are playing to the audience, they need to see the slideshow. I just pressed F5 now. If you don't want to go to, what is it called? Slideshow from the beginning, you can just say F5. But F5 plays from the very first slide. So just remember that's what you're going to do before you present. And then we also have what we call a header and footer. Okay. So header and footer still from the insert. Okay. Insert, time, date, they still apply the same way we did in Word and Excel. With the header and footer now, there are 2 tabs there. There's slide, there's also notes and handouts. Okay. What's the difference? If I now insert time and date on my slide to update automatically, I want a slide number as well. Let's insert a footer. And then we say you only do this to not show on the title slide if you don't want this to show on the title slide. Normally we do that because title slide already has a lot of artistic effects on them. To have a date now and whatever that you typed on it is just a bit too much, but I will include it this time. And then if I say apply, it will only apply it on a slide that I am currently on. If I say apply to all the slides will have the footer. You see that, right? There's a demo there, date as well as a slide number. Okay, so the other option, I just need to undo what I did. When we say insert, header and footer, if I don't go on slide, I decide to do my header and footer on notes and handouts. That's if I don't want the audience to see it when I play the presentation. That means it will only be on a printout. Okay, let's go date, update automatically, page number. I don't want a header. I will insert a footer. Let's name it 1A, tech overview. And then I'm going to say apply to all. Okay, so notice when I play my slideshow, you don't see that footer even though I typed it in. So that's the difference of having a footer or either on a slide or notes and handouts. On a slide, as I play it, you will see the footer as well. But on notes and handouts, I can't see it, you can't see it. The only time we get to see it is if we print it out. File, print, and then you will have to go and say change from print slides. Remember now when you print, you can play around with them, okay? You can go to print all slides. You can change from a full page slide to a notes page. If you do a notes page, it will also show the notes that the presenter knows. So this was slide 1. There's a footer. If I go to the next slide, the notes were on slide 3, right? There are the notes. But you would have to print this out in order to see it, okay? It's only on a printed hard copy, okay? And then also notice with the slides, you can also change from portrait, you can make that a landscape. So now when you print it out, it looks like it's longer on the horizontal rather than on the vertical. And then I can also decide on the number of slides I want on that. Let's say an outline now, it just makes it notes like you typed on some normal Word document, okay? And then we also have what we call, I can say full page, that's a normal full page. and then decide, okay, I don't want one slide on one page. I can have two. And then I think when you print this out is much better. And then 4 would be much preferable. And then what you can do also is to print this on both sides. So that means on one page, you can have 8 slides on one. So this is when you want to print out your notes of any lecture, okay? Because sometimes it can be 50 slides long or even 60 slides long. But I think for me, 6 slides onwards is a bit, it makes the text too small, okay? So just remember, I personally prefer 4 slides. I can see everything, and I just put 4 slides on one page, rather than now having 4 pages, and then you can imagine how much that is if you go print it in the library or anywhere else. And then we can also save paper by printing on both sides. So that means if I have 4 slides on one page, and print it on both sides, now I have 8 slides on one page, okay? And then you can go print on color or grayscale or pure black and white, and so on, so on. So that's how you play around with printing. And I also wanted to demonstrate that if you put your header and footer on notes and handouts, you'll only see it on a printout, but not on the slideshow itself. If you wanted to show on a slideshow, you will go to Insert, Header and Footer, and rather insert it on a slide rather than notes and handouts. Okay. And then the presentation or document properties, same place. File, and then make sure that the info is displayed, and then you can change properties. There we can go the arrow, advanced properties, and insert your title, subject, as well as the author. And remember, if you find one that is already there, and I told you to type another one, you would have to remove that one. Okay, so it still works the same. So 5 long presentation. We have the title slide. That was a section header because we wanted a mini paragraph. And then we had some bullets, remembering that professional gyms is a sub-bullet under the first bullet. In the Midwest is a sub-bullet under the specializing in weightlifting. So second bullet there is specializing in weightlifting. We decided to present this in a picture form, showing you that I don't really have to type in text. Anything that can capture the audience attention, then I will talk about the picture. The first thing that we're going to do there is what we call a reuse slides. Okay, so let's say I already have a certain presentation that has a slide that I want. I don't want to type from the beginning. I had this, I just want to reuse something from that presentation. So from this presentation, data 2, I want this slide 1 exactly as it is, and it has to be slide 2 of that presentation. So I don't need to do copies and pastes, okay? Just gonna close it. How do we reuse this slide without having to open the second presentation? Okay, on the new slide now, I want this to be on after slide 1. So I have slide 1 selected. I'm going to click on the new slide split button, and right at the bottom, we have what we call reuse slides. I'm going to click on reuse slides, and immediately on the right hand side we have a reuse slide pane. Now I'm going to browse and look for the second presentation. Browse file. This is on desktop. Just gonna go look for it. It was on unit 6, lecture 1, scripted 1A. 1B, sorry, and there I have it. And then as soon as I say open, that presentation open on the right hand side. So now I have 2 presentations in front of me, the one I'm working on and the one that I want to take slides from. Okay, so now if I click on slide number 1 without saying keep source formatting, it's just going to that's slide number 2. You noticed what happened, right? So this slide is take a hike, and then the slide 2 here started with it's a great way. I want this slide to be part of this main presentation, but it has to be after slide 1. So what I'm going to do is just click on slide 1 from there. So I set keep source formatting to be cleared. So that means I don't want it to come with its own colors. It is brown in color. The background is just pure white. So if this is cleared, I want it to adopt to this theme. Okay, the green theme here. So I click on slide 1. So now I have Take a Hike as my slide 2, but it adopted to my current theme with the green colors and that red arrow over there. But let's say after slide 4, I want this second slide from the second presentation. I have to now select slide 4 because I want the reuse slide to be after slide 4. What if I wanted to come with its theme, that white background and the brown colors? I have to say keep source formatting. The source is this what I'm taking from. If I want to keep its formatting, it has to come with its colors exactly as it is without adopting to the themes and format that I'm on. So if I click on it, it now looks different from the others. It came with its own font types, font colors, and its orangey underlines, okay? Which obviously wouldn't look nice. It doesn't look nice that I have a green theme here and then all of a sudden things are white, okay? So when you reuse a slide, rather keep source formatting cleared and then it adopts to the current presentation, unless if you want it exactly as it is. You would normally want it exactly as it is if it's pictures and some shapes. So you've already worked on it somewhere else. Okay, so that means you are able to reuse the slides from a presentation that you already have. Deleting a slide and moving a slide quite easy. On the thumbnail, let's say I don't want slides, the last slide anymore, slide 7. I can just go on that slide, right click and say delete slide, just like we could delete a row or column on Excel. And then I want slide 4 now. I realize that this slide 4 will look much better if it comes before slide 3. I want this to be above slide 3. So what I'm going to go is go to slide 4, left click hold, and just drag it above slide 3. It's now slide 3, and what used to be slide 3 is now slide 4. So we are able to move slide around. Find and replace still works the same way. Okay, home, replace. Let's say we are looking for the word Watkins Glen, and then I want to replace this with the word Horsehead. Okay, and then I can just say replace all. Found and made 3 replacements. It works exactly the same as in Word and Excel. Nothing has changed. And then the theme variants. If I don't want this theme, remember anything to do with the theme we find in the design tab. I can go and change the variant there. Okay, I'm just gonna open them, decide on certain colors. Okay, let's go for the blues. And then how about the font? We can change these. Okay, I will go for that one there. You'll see that everything is changing on the thumbnail when I change something. Okay, so just remember you are able to play around with that theme. You don't have to stick with the original colors and the font types. And then aligning text still works the same way. On slide number 5, if I want that to be left aligned, I can go and left align it. If I want it to be right aligned, or leave it as center aligned. Okay, and then just notice also, if I want the whole placeholder selected, there's no need for me to go inside the placeholder and just select everything. You will see the placeholder is a dotted line. As soon as I click anywhere on it, it becomes a solid line. So that means everything inside that placeholder is selected. I can just go change the color and everything inside it will be red. But if I am just selecting any of the bullets inside, then I change the color, it will only change your. So instead of selecting everything and changing the color, I can just click on the placeholder line there, the dotted line. If I click on it, it becomes solid, meaning everything inside it has been selected. So you'll notice that every time now I change anything, all those bullets at the same time are changing. Okay, so it's just an easier way of selecting everything without having to go in and select all bullets. Okay, line spacing works the same way. Okay, line spacing still the same story. Let's make this one a 1.5, and then there will be line space between those bullets. And then just remember also, we are able to change a layout. We don't have to stick with the one that we worked on. If you were happy with that layout when you started, you can always change it while you're practicing and you feel, but this doesn't look right. Let me maybe change this layout, and then let's make this one a section header. So what it did now, it took the title, put it on top, and the mini paragraph at the bottom. And then deleting slides on a slide view. So you saw that I was able to move slides around. I was able to delete them, but this is on a normal view. Okay, I can make this look bigger, make the thumbnail look bigger by just dragging this. You see that arrow? You know by now that if you get arrows, this is left and right, that means you can drag this left or right. So they can look small or as big as you want to. So, and then you are able to work on the thumbnail there in terms of copying and pasting, in terms of deleting, or just moving slide around. If you don't want to do it on a thumbnail, you can do it on what we call a slide sorter view. Where do we get it? On the status bar, we have notes, comments, normal view, and a slide sorter view. So what a slide sorter does then, it just shows you all your slides in front of you. So if I want to delete slide 6, I can just go slide 6, delete. I just deleted it from a ribbon. Remember, you can do it on a right click as well. And what if I want this slide to be after slide number 5? Go to it, left click, hold, and then drag it to number 5. And then I want to copy and paste this slide number 2 to be after slide 4. So I can go copy, select slide 4, paste. And then now I have a duplicate of slides. And then what if I want to move slide 2 and slide 4 to be after slide 6? Control key, still multi-select on PowerPoint. I can select slide 4, control, and then select slide 2. So slide 2, press control on the keyboard and hold, and select slide 4. So now both slides are selected. Select and go on any of them, left click, hold, and both of them will move to be the last slide. And what if I want to select slide 2, 3, and 4? I can select the first one and do control. That doesn't matter. Or I can remember to use a shift. If now, let's say I want to select 4 to 5. Instead of controlling and selecting them one by one, I can just select the first one, press shift and hold on the keyboard and select the last one. So shift now knows, okay, the person selected first and the last, then I have to select everything in between as well. And then I can go and move this. All of them will move and come before what was slide 1. So that is just a slide sorter. It tells you just that for you to sort out your slides, okay? And then I'm just gonna go back to normal view. You can also change between views under view there. So it will be your choice when you do a presentation, when you want to sort slides around, whether you're doing it on a thumbnail or on a slide sorter. Okay. So you saw that I am able to go on a certain slide, right? So thumbnail only allows me to sort slides around. I can delete them, I can move them around, right? And I can either use my vertical scroll bar or go on the slide itself in order to display a slide that I want. If I want to make changes, then I need to go on the placeholder, okay? I can change the indentation there, or I can change the font color. So you can do that on what we call on an outline view. Some people prefer working on an outline view. Okay, how do I change to an outline view? You will see that we have normal view, there's a slide sorter, and there's also a reading view. I am currently on a reading view. I can go back to the normal view. And then on the view tab, I'm also able to switch between different views. The reading view, notes page, slide sorter, outline. I'm now looking for the outline. What outline does then, it allows you to type and change your formatting or adjust your formatting from the left-hand side. Remember, if it was just a thumbnail, we're not able to make changes from there, right? So now I can go to Treat Yourself to Wildlife and change. Let's change the color there, make it brown. And then you'll see that the brown changed, shadow, bold. Okay, you see that I'm working on the left-hand side, but whatever I'm doing is happening on the right-hand side also. So we do get people that don't like working on a slide pane. They would rather just work on the left-hand side, which we call it an outline. So let me go to slide number 4. I am going to select bullet 2 as well as 3 and sub-bullet them. Let's say I want them to be sub-bullets under improve your stamina, okay? And then I just sub-bulleted them. They are now on a level 2. Okay, I now only have 2 bullets and the other 2 bullets are sub-bullets under improve your stamina. So, and then if you don't want to work on an outline, you can always go back view and then normal view. Just remember, on a normal view, you can't work from the left-hand side. You are forced to work on the slide pane itself. Okay. So normally it's a personal choice as to how do you prefer to create your presentation. Applying slide transition. A transition animates your slideshow. Okay. So when I go to a transition, let's go slideshow. I'm going to play it first. It's just dull, nothing is happening. I'm just moving from one slide to the next. If I transition it, let's make it a push, then that will happen when I go to the next slide. But notice, as soon as I insert a certain slide, there's a star under one there that was not there. Did you see that? So that means that slide alone has a transition. If I want to apply this, let's play it first. From the beginning, it's transitioned, but the rest are not transitioned, okay? So if I wanted to do it on all slides, transition, I have to go and say apply to all. And then different slides can have different transitions if you want to, but if you overdo it, that each and every slide has its own transition, that can be irritating to the audience slide. If you want to change transitions, you can choose maybe 1 or 2 slides that you want to accentuate more. So that means as soon as a transition changes, then the audience you wake their minds up. But a transition changing on each and every slide, it can be irritating to the audience. So you need to be careful of that. So I repeat, if you want to change a transition to the whole presentation, you would have to choose 1 or 2 slides if it's a long presentation. Okay. So automatically on the audience minds, if a certain transition changes, their mind wakes up. So it's just a way of playing around with the audience. Okay, we're going to use the uncover. I think cover. So this cover is coming from the right-hand side. You saw that, right? I can change that effect that it comes maybe from the left-hand side. So instead of it covering from the right-hand side, it's doing the left now. We can do it cover from the bottom. So we call it effect options. I can decide how long do I want this transition to play out. If we make it 5 seconds, this is in second form, not minutes. So students now confuse this a lot. Now on a question, I tell you to make it 5 seconds. They would go and do this. And then treat that as a 5 seconds, okay? So just remember, this is in a second form. So 5 seconds, a second come before the comma. It's not in minutes. So there it's seconds. So before a comma, it's seconds, and after a comma, it's milliseconds. Okay, so that is 5 seconds. And then we say apply to all. When we go play it, it's taking 5 seconds to play out, which I personally think it's too long. And then we can reduce the time and maybe make it 2.5. Slideshow from the beginning. It's much quicker than that 5 seconds. You see that, right? So when you do the transition, you'd have to also decide on the timing that it should play out as well, okay? And then when you say on a mouse click, you want when you click a mouse so that this transitions automatically to the next slide. Or you can, that's a dangerous one, when you say after. So this is when you decide I'm going to spend exactly 2 minutes on slide 2. You would have to rehearse. So that means you can't give the audience a chance to ask questions. You can't say anything that you did not rehearse. So this would have to be well scripted. You say what you practice for that 2 minutes, because after 2 minutes, what will then happen? Automatically, that slide is going to transition to the next slide without you doing anything on the keyboard or on the mouse. So when you decide to do that, you have to be super, super careful. When you do on a mouse click, that means you get to control when you go to the next slide. You can say as little or as much as you want, and then click a mouse or enter on the keyboard and it goes to the next slide. So if you ever decide to go for after, you have to be really well rehearsed. So not anyone can just do that. Anything disturbs you, then the presentation will just be moving on. And then sometimes you're talking to the audience, you're keeping eye contact, you're not even aware that the presentation has moved on. Now the audience is listening to what you're saying, but what they're seeing is a completely different story. So just remember to do that, you have to be very careful. So normally people would do that if they want to move around the venue, but rehearsed. Okay, they know after this, I'm saying exactly, I rehearsed, I said this while I was practicing, and it was 1 minute, and then they put 1 minute on the first slide. On the second one, when I was practicing, I spent exactly 30 seconds, and they put 30 seconds. But as they're walking around the audience, they would have to say exactly what they rehearsed. And then now the slide is moving with what they are saying. Are we clear on that? All right. And then that is it for chapter 1.